My name is Tyler David, and you're watching Field of Dreams on ACTN.
Hey everybody, welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. I'm Steve David and I'm your host. Today I want to talk with our FIFA, I shouldn't say TT, but our FIFA referees who's going to tell us all about the new rules of the game or things that we need to know. Let me take time to introduce my co-host Narada Wilson. Welcome to the set, Narada.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Steve. And today we will be getting into the intricacies of refereeing. And we have a whole host of referees, some familiar faces we see on the field. Now we're going to get up close and personal with them today.
Okay, good. And I'll do this a little different. I'll let the referees introduce themselves,
Right.
and say who they are and give you a little background on where they're at. First, let me take the referee to the right of Narada. Welcome.
Welcome. Good night.
Tell the viewers who you are.
My name is Rutherford Harris, former FIFA referee from 2013 till 2017. Soon to be back on the panel. I have international experience. I just want to update the laws to everyone in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Thank you for being here. And
yes, my name is Caleb Wales. I am an international assistant referee. I have been refereeing since 2006, and I was international since 2013. I have a lot of experience traveling, doing international games, as well as doing games locally for the Pro League, etc.
Okay, welcome to the set. And next.
Greetings to all. My name is AINSLEY ROCHARD. I've been officiating as a referee from 2000. I've been appointed on the FIFA panel in 2008. At this moment, I'm an existing FIFA International Assistant Referee, and I've been performing this task for a very long while, and it has been very interesting thus far.
Hi, greetings all. OLADELE Thomas, refereeing for 14 years. Came up through the school program, actually, that TTRFA had when they were going into the secondary schools. Came straight up to the FIFA level at 2017. Due to some unfortunate circumstances, personally, I had to pull back, and will be back on this year, working hard with my teammates on the FIFA panel.
Okay, glad to have each and every one of you. You know what? It took me, after I leave the game, to realize how important your job is and how tough it is. Because everybody gets down on the ref, even the people in the stand gets on you guys' cases, and we need to be more lenient in you. And thank you guys for being so patient and so being with such good temperament. That you don't fight back. But I would never be a referee because you guys get abused more than anybody else. But they blame me for people losing the game and all of that kind of stuff. Right, Narada?
Yeah, that's very true, very true. So I'm sure you guys have to be tough psychologically to deal with that sort of pressure, especially in a multi-million-dollar industry and game like football, where everybody has an opinion, right?
Speaking about that, doing you guys training as a referee, do they go through all of that kind of stuff with you guys? Or, I mean, and let's make this barbershop discussion, because I don't want to have to point out anybody. Anybody can speak. Sure. Just one person speak at a time. So what you guys do, give us some insight on part of your training, what they train you to to do or for, so you can abusive crowds or whatever. Just relate.
As you mentioned, it's a very tough occupation. It requires a certain aspect of mental toughness as well as psychological preparation. So that when we do training, we have to make decisions under pressure. Part of the training, we usually exert ourselves running, and after some time has passed and we have exhausted, then they might bring a decision, which has to be very quick and very on the spot. And we aim for accuracy, sharpness, making the decisions clear and sharp. We also aim for our personality so that we sell our decisions so that the crowd or the television or whoever is watching knows that the referee or the assistant referee is making the decision. So they come to accept it, and we have to sell that decision. So part of the training is a lot of decision making. So on the field, they might show us a color, and then we have to make a quick decision based on that color. And then it translates to on the field when we see a foul or offside, then we make a quick decision, and it has to be crisp and clear.
Right.
And when you spoke of the expression, it's not to sell, so you also not look biased in the decision that you made, not in favor or against anything. So you keep a more or less a neutral look when making it then. Okay.
Strong personality.
Right.
So what about, I know I seen a referee warming up for a game, man. I thought he was going to play the game. So you guys, obviously you go through a heavy regime to try to stay fit. And I'm sure they grade you on that. Go ahead and.
One of the key parts of being a referee, they use it as an acronym in terms of your fitness is your passport. Without being at a certain fitness level, it prevents you from either officiating certain games locally, and if you're as an international referee, it prevents you from doing international games if your fitness level is not at a certain standard. You mentioned about referee training before warming up before a game, and his attitude looks like he's actually going to play the game. Part of that is the very first minute of a game, you could actually have a counter-attack or a situation where you need to be present, so you have to accelerate. So you can't prepare for that. You have to be ready for that.
Right.
So part of the pre-match is to have your body prepared physically and mentally for any kind of fast decision you have to make during the game.
And we find the game is the modern game is becoming a lot quicker, a lot faster. So you can't have the referee being slow and lethargic and behind the play. We need to be very quick and agile and fit. So part of the requirements of being a referee, and more importantly, as an international referee, you have to do fitness tests every year, and it's a mandatory requirement that you pass this, or you will not be able to be an international referee.
OLADELE, it's difficult to get from defense to offense when somebody kicked the ball and you in the box has to get to the other box, man. How you do that?
Well, I can only speak from the perspective of an assistant referee when I'm on the line.
Okay.
And in that aspect, to get from the penalty area to the halfway line, it takes two things. You have to focus on the game because you must stay in line with the second to last defender, and it takes that speed and endurance. So you now have to simultaneously put your energy both into your physical and your mental. And one thing they do in the training with us is they make sure, as Caleb made mention to us, that they will put us under that physical pressure and then have to make us make that decision. So you now have to mentally prepare yourself in your pre-match, as AINSLEY say, like if it is we are going to play the game. And to answer that question, yes, we are going to play the game. Because if we are not 100% better than the players, we cannot service the game in the manner in which the game wants us to be serviced.
Right, right.
Touching on that, what I wanted to get at, Mr. Harris, is it that in the fitness requirement, you all have an international fitness requirement to reach, which may not necessarily translate to our speed of the game, because if our Pro League plays at 5 out of 10, but the English game plays at 8 out of 10, are the referees required to reach a particular fitness that is only CONCACAF, local, or international standard, or it's all set on the international standard?
The referees internationally,
Right.
fit, World Cup standard, and the referees locally, other than the international referees and the elite referees,
Right.
they go national time.
Okay, national. So there's a national fitness standard, and then there's an international.
Yeah.
Different.
FIFA actually set three different, well, they set multiple standards for
Right.
different aspects of the game. They have the men's game and the women's game, so they have different standards for men and
Right.
women, as well as for each men and women, they have a national standard, they have an international standard, which must be met for all international referees, and they also have a World Cup standard, which is even higher than the international standard. So if you're aspiring to do a World Cup level game, which could also be stuff as like CONCACAF Gold Cup, or maybe a Club World Cup, even those things on that
tournaments,
level
right.
require a even higher standard. So there are three standards set by FIFA, and we must adhere to it to officiate at each level: national, international, and World Cup.
So what standard you guys are? Are everybody in the same standard, or everybody? We have different standards here.
Right. So it depends on which level you attain. For me, I will have had to done the World Cup standard for assistant referees
Right.
to go to a tournament such as the Gold Cup.
Right.
So I have went to a Gold Cup last year for the first time, and part of that requirement was the World Cup standard.
World Cup standard, right?
So that will have been the first time I've attained that level.
Okay.
Every year, there's always more tests, depending on what level you are. So even within CONCACAF, they may grade you at certain levels. And when you're at a certain level, they require from you the World Cup standard. When you are at that level, you have to make sure and pass that standard. And as a referee training, even though FIFA set a specific standard, it
You
is
try to.
advisable you train for more than that, because you never know what could happen. It might rain on that day, it might snow, it might be very hot. They don't really care what the condition is, because a football game can happen
Right.
in almost any condition, except,
Right.
very drastic circumstances. But generally, you have to be prepared for anything. So you should prepare for a higher level than what you want to achieve.
Right. So when you guys get graded, somebody sits in the stand and grades you, right? And then after that, tell us what happens. They ream you or they congratulate you. What do they do?
It have a,
Huh?
it have a referee assessor
Yeah.
appointed to the game, a videotape the game, come down dressing room after the game. You have a small chat with the good and the bad we need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent some clips here, and he sent an assessment report. So you as the referee, the next game, you're not supposed to end up in the same situation what you end up in this game. So it's always to try to better yourself.
If you do what they do, they take money out of your pocket. They don't pay you for that game, or what? Or what they do?
It's just a plus for your referee to reach the next level.
Right.
That he doesn't have too many negative
Just,
reports on his
Then
thing. 'Cause
it
then it pulls-
impedes your progress being a referee.
because
Is that what it does?
One of the benefits of the assessment report is for younger referees who's aspiring to become FIFA referees. They could use the grade mark, which they use out of 10. And if a referee is leading from 8 onwards towards 10, they could highlight that referee and say, well, okay, he or she is doing well at a certain level, so we can appoint them to either a higher game, or we can appoint them to be on the FIFA panel.
All right, answer this question honestly. Honestly, guys. You guys ever refereeing a game, but you have a favorite team? You like a team. And does that make you continue to call the game as even as possible? Or you might call it, even a referee might like a team, because there's one referee who is from Point, I know, who does not like, he's from Point, but he calls the game harder against us. So do you do that? You call it harder against the team that you like, or you easy on the team? What? Tell me.
To me,
Huh?
I am a soldier by profession.
The what?
I'm a member of Trinity Defense Force by profession.
Right.
I referee defense sport games like 5 years ago, finals, and they lost both.
Well, you referee hard against them. You like the guy from Point I was just talking about.
No, I'm a fair guy. I'm a fair.
Well, yeah.
I'm a professional at the end of the day.
Okay, you're professional in that.
Professional
What about you guys?
To be honest, it makes you work, it makes you scrutinize yourself a lot more. Because everyone, as an individual, as a human being, has a favorite. We can't despite that,
Right.
right? But because it is the level of professionalism that the TTFA and the refereeing department and the member association and even FIFA needs us to be at, we have to put that aside and make sure at that moment, even if, as Mr. Harris said, he is officiating against his own counterparts, that he has to be on the ball. And because we are like that, at that point in time, most of the time, the general public may think, okay, he's being too hard, or he's being too lenient, or XYZ. But no, at that point in time, any professional referee can tell you that that is when we are at our best, because we cannot show favor at any time, at any moment.
But maybe that's what you're thinking. Subconsciously, you're saying, oh, people will feel I think so. You give a team a little even harder call when but you do not do it on purpose. It's just that you don't want the people to feel like this is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So maybe every human, it happens. But 9 stages of the game, and your team won nothing down, and you see a soft penalty, you might give it. It's human, no?
You see,
You don't want to.
this is why I tell you no. Here's why I know. Because as you just put those circumstances, you remember in your previous question, we have an assessor in the stand.
Yeah.
Right?
And we have the assessor taping the game, right? And if it is, you are seen doing something less than what FIFA
Right.
instruct us to do by the laws of the game, then yes, you're reprimanded. You might not do that level of game again. Or if it sees that you did what was supposed to do under that pressure in that minute, you might be carried to further levels.
Right.
So I will humbly like to disagree with you.
Okay, and I'm glad you did, because everybody's watching you out there. We're going to take a break now, but when we come back, now we're going to talk about specifics on the field that I want you guys to go through to make the people understand this is how we call the game. Viewers, we'll be right back after this short break.
One other player before scoring. So they always go through the laws and try to upgrade. It might not be perfect. I know they're reviewing a lot of stuff with the VAR now, so they have to keep upgrading, and that's why now they have drop balls as uncontested.
ACTN, The Voice, your family-friendly station.
We, from those encounters together, and this was a North-South game to open the season.
So the team might be playing well, as we always say with Trinidad and Tobago.
Futsal did a great for me.
Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David. I'm your host. Okay, welcome back, viewers. Okay, to my referees. Let's break down certain parts of the game so the people can understand why we do what we do. And one of the biggest thing for me is, they make it easy now, but I don't like it because I feel if you offside, I feel if you're in an offside position, it should be offside because it just confuses things. You know, like there's a game with, I think Manchester United when The guy is sitting there and he kind of moves his foot away and the ball going to goal. Went back to VAR and VAR said not a goal because he's obstructing play, even though he didn't touch it. So let's talk about anything on the field that we can let the viewers understand this is why we call it that way.
I would like to lament a little more on that. Penalizing a player for being in an offside position, it comes down to terms with interfering with an opponent, interfering with play, or gaining an advantage for being in that position.
Mm-hmm.
To explain a little more about the situation that you mentioned with the player being on the ground, that is considered as interfering with an opponent. The keeper itself, questioning, the keeper itself, was the keeper being able to perform his duties comfortably enough, having a player in his peripheral view, this close to him, and the ball is coming within the same direction. So those are the situations an assistant referee had to be faced with. One, you have to decide, first thing, offside position or not, which is first tick, offside, yes. The next thing is the ball. Is the ball within the direction of the player or the ball coming to the opposite direction of the player, where the keeper can leave this player here and go to the right. So the ball is within the same direction of the player. So, tick two. Another situation is the keeper being able to confirm his duties responsibly enough without any interference from the player? And if that is no, well, they need to penalize the player, whether he literally moves out of the way or he actually, just move a foot. But that close distance, you have to penalize the player for being in an offside position by interfering with the goalkeeper.
That's an excellent explanation. You got 98 out of 100 in the scores, right? When you did this
My
thing.
profession, I'm a FIFA international assistant referee.
Okay. All right. So, what about other situations?
I want to touch on issue with rapid free kicks. Long ago, before the law changed, a rapid free kick, once you rapid kick it, the ball played, you could never come back and caution the player. But now, FIFA changed it. So a rapid free kick, the team decided to touch the ball, boom, play on the ground, go to goal, score. Now, you could come back and caution or send off the player. No.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, well, let me give you another situation. Why do you guys think about other situations? If it's a drop ball, and now, back in the day when we drop a ball, hey, we fighting for that ball, right? Between two players. Now the player, a gentlemanly thing, they leave it and you automatically plays it back to the team.
So,
well, what if you drop it and somebody takes it and run it and score it? Because they're entitled to do that if they wanted to, which happens.
Correct.
So,
there's a board that sits every year to review the football laws, and every year maybe they determine that the law is not perfect and needs to change. So we had the drop ball law, which has evolved over the years, and there was a very recent change with the drop ball, which says that the drop ball must now be uncontested. You can't have two players from the opposing teams challenging for that drop ball. The drop ball is now awarded to one player of one team, and that player can play the ball however he wish. In addition to that, they also said, hey, he can't just go and score straight in the goal. So they actually took out the ability to score directly from a drop ball. They said it must touch one other player before scoring. So they always go through the laws and try to upgrade. It might not be perfect. I know they're reviewing a lot of stuff with the VAR now, so they have to keep upgrading, and that's why now they have drop balls as uncontested.
right. And OLADELE, what part of the game you can think of that that is a little iffy?
Little iffy?
Yeah.
Actually, for me at this point in time, I will have to say that FIFA has a very good handle on the game when it comes to the laws of the game. Because the laws of the game are very clear-cut. As Mr. Rochard just explained with the offside law, right? Once it is you take the ability to sit down and understand the law, as he just explained to you, which is out there for everyone in the law books that they bring out every single year. And as Mr. Caleb just said, that there's a board to review those laws that we might miss something. So you know what? Let's correct it and see how we make this as fair as possible. So to answer that question, I don't think at this point in time there's any aspect of the game where the laws are official.
I'm glad you said that. Let me give you guys one. I have them written down for you guys. One. How many seconds the goalkeeper have when he picks the ball up? How many? I want to hear all of you say it. How many seconds?
6 seconds.
Yeah,
6 seconds.
Everybody, mum. How many seconds the goalkeeper has?
6 seconds. 6 seconds, and it starts.
How many seconds the goalkeeper uses? Sometimes they hold it there for 10 minutes and then kick it, right? Why don't you guys call that?
Well, that fall under the article of spirit of the game.
Spirit, okay.
No, spirit of the game. The momentum of the player receiving the ball and looking for players to release. Sometimes when you do look, he's contested with an opponent. Next teammate is contested by another opponent. So that takes up time by looking for opponent. When he do raise his head and actually see an opponent, one of his teammates that is free, 6 seconds gone. So you don't want to literally blow the game for that. You look at his momentum to see, well, okay, are you going to release? Are you going to waste time? So those are the things the referees have to take into consideration. And
right.
you see his body language showing signs that he's going to release the ball.
So they're going
seconds,
like this.
8 seconds, let it go.
Oh, I just want to emphasize a little bit on what Mr. Rochard said.
Yeah.
Sometimes attackers use it as tactical reason being they follow the goalkeeper. So while they're following him, they don't try to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he will take up 3-4 seconds to chop off or kick it along. So some attackers use it as tactical reason because football, the game becoming more faster and FIFA making it easy for everyone to understand. So players practice these things in training: simulation, foul, penalty.
Yeah.
They practice how to dive, how to initiate contacts.
And one more thing about this, as Rochard mentioned, there's what we call the letter of the law, and it's even mentioned in the law book itself, something called the spirit of the law. And what the referee has to do is use common sense and sometimes intelligence and management of the game. In that every time a goalkeeper comes, he's not going to watch his watch and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, direct free kick. That if that happens, almost every game there will be a situation. So they have to use a little feeling sometimes, a little understanding. And if the goalkeeper does go overboard, maybe he can say, "Hey, you're going overboard." If it happens again, we will penalize it because you went about 8 seconds and we find you're taking long. So kind of speed it up a bit. So it's kind of managing and massaging and feeling out the game. But obviously we have the law within our right to then say, all right, you went over. This is an indirect free kick.
All right, before Narada asks you the question, let me cut in here. This is one more time. I bet you none of you guys on this panel have called somebody a goalkeeper for taking too long, because there's no referee in no game I've seen ever make that call.
Well,
who had made that call in here? And if you say yes, tell me when what that happened.
Harris could answer.
Have you ever made that call? No. Neither of you. Because no referee in the world does it. All they say to the goalkeeper is hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
We have to manage it. Yeah.
Right.
I think, and that's a very shaky rule, especially as you said, they put it under the spirit of the game. I think what you're trying to say is that you all look for when the keeper commits to the action, as counting it from there. Because you see, and as you said, there are tactics where the player is going to stand in front of him for 3 seconds. So you obviously know he can't really try and do it. But the problem with it is that it is written in the game.
Yes.
So we on the outside, we always looking like, this 6 seconds.
And who knows, maybe the board might look at it and say, in the spirit,
if it continues with the action.
Yeah, I think.
Right, you wouldn't leave from the half line to go down to speak to him, but you go down for a corner. So you go in and have a small quiet word with him.
Tell
So
him.
that the public see, hey, I now speak to him. You don't know it's that, but you know the referee now had a conversation with the goalkeeper. So
Yeah,
next time I call it, if it happens, it come like delaying the restart of play. Like goalkeepers, they leading 1-0. 5 minutes ago, they would take the ball from this side, bring it this side, and then call a defender to come and kick. You know, so only time you come down now is to caution him.
But the problem we're having is that Steve has said he's never seen it happen.
It never happened. It never happened.
Until
You guys
we
didn't even win
probably
this
see
one.
once or twice, then we might actually believe, you know,
Right.
hey, yeah.
It never happened.
Well, you believe there's probably some laws you have never seen executed because it's so rare, but they have them written to protect the game, protect the image of the game.
And that is, and I want to piggyback on what Mr. Wales said there just now, because that is why the law is there. That is why that 6-second rule is there. And as Ainsley just says, the spirit of the law. So to go on what Mr. Harris says, I'm not going to come as a referee from midway point in my position to go on to the another aspect of the game to come and caution you for 6 seconds. But the law has, if it is I'm seeing you wasting
Constantly,
time,
right.
deliberate, and that's the key point of it. In the spirit of the game, we have to know it was deliberate or not. It comes like this. You just got a fender bender. Your tail light is broken, right? You're going to the mechanic or to the repair shop to get it fixed, right? You just made your report. It is in the right for the police to pull you aside and charge you for a broken tail light. But if you have shown the evidence, well, hey, just come from the police station, just make the report, I am going XYZ. Would it be fair for that officer in his right to issue you that ticket for a broken tail light? Right. Or should the officer use the spirit and say, okay, don't let it happen again, right? It is the same concept.
Before we move forward in this question, because I'm the host, so I have the last word. Let me tell you something. A goalkeeper will catch the ball, and he look at the clock, and then he drops down on the ground with the ball, and all of that kind of nonsense that you guys take. And he killing time. You tell him about spirit of the game. There ain't no spirit of the game. He's doing everything possible to waste time. And then he gets up and nobody has the nerve to make that
That
call.
is why the referee, that's what we come in as Caleb say, management. Yes. You know, management. So you come, goalkeeper, let's go. So
yes, that's what you say.
So he doesn't know the referee on him with his tactics.
Right.
So
you don't have the nerve to make that call. Nobody.
Can you show me which goalkeeper has never tried that? I'm sure every goalkeeper has thought about it, but it's something that just needs to be managed.
I think what it is also is that the fact that the grass football side of the game is 90 minutes, and they believe that the 6 seconds, 10 seconds is not too much being lost, because that same rule in futsal or in beach football is very much applied heavily.
Yes.
The goalkeeper, you hear it blowing off. At 4 seconds is blowing, the caution one time because the game is it's shorter. So you find that they need that 4 seconds means
free kick every
much more to them than I guess in the grass form of the game.
All right, let me throw another one out for you. Foul throw. Sometimes I see referee call foul throw. Man, why even call it? Because the guy he might just get it from here and go like this. So why be calling that? And then sometimes again, you see some foul throws that let go. I mean, it's like, where's the constant? Where's the consistency in those things?
I think again, you more get the younger, newly graduate referees calling those fouls show, rather than get the senior, like the senior assistant referees in the country or the referee calling those fouls show. You get from the younger, you might more get in under 15, under 16.
Right.
But
depending on the level of thing. Professionals let them go.
Out of 99%, they might get what? 1%.
Yeah. Speaking from international experience, we have an instructor who always tells us, don't sweat the small stuff. So maybe it's those little vultures that is probably a little over the head that, sometimes you mightn't even worry about those little things. But we want to make sure we're ready for the big details, the penalties, the goals, no goals, the offsides,
reckless,
the red cards, yellow cards. Those are the big stuff. So sometimes foul throw, we may let a little things slide, we might give them a little warning. Similar with the 6 second rule, is those things that it's probably small stuff, but we want to ensure the big stuff are taken care of and are correct.
On an international game, to call a poacher, I would say it have to be blatant.
Yes.
Literally blatant.
Exactly.
He stands
It's also
watching a
embarrassing to the
game
player
and
too.
you literally see
It is.
a player lift one of his feet way off the ground.
Way off the ground.
And then
Or step
throwing
way
the ball,
into the field. you
or
know.
twisting his body at an angle and just throwing the ball at a. So it have to be blatant for us to call it on an international game. So you really will see that on an international game because a player on an international game will be more skilled enough to not to do that.
Would you say in penalty is the toughest call to make because sometimes it's crazy. People put a hand behind the back. So I could act like I am running with moving like this with my hands up and the ball hits it, even though I honestly do it on purpose. But just in my action and so on. But so it gives you a difficult time to call it. Is that your toughest call or not?
From a referee point of view, no call is a tough call.
You don't call what?
No calls are tough call from a referee point of view.
A no call.
Once you have proper angles, all calls supposed to be easy for you.
Okay.
Proper angles, reading the game, communication with the assistants, eye-to-eye contact, no calls should be tough calls.
So OLADELE has explained good. What is the rule for a handball?
A handball. Well, I know there has been some changes to the rules that I'm not too accurate with. So I'd like to pass this one.
Which one of you guys can do that?
Any of us can answer.
Handball.
Right, so in terms of handball, they added, they did some clarification of it
Okay.
to make it clearer than what it was before.
Okay.
And one of the things they added was putting the hands in a unnatural position, making your body unnaturally bigger, or straightforward if your hand is over your head, over your shoulders.
That's easy.
And it makes contact then. Handball. They clarified that. They said, hey, hands over your shoulder, handball. Or if you're making the body unnaturally bigger. So the idea is you're making a barrier to letting the ball pass. So as a defender, my body is this wide and I should not be using my hands. But if I do so, my body becomes a wider area. And then if I stop a ball like this with my hands out here, then whether I'm trying to or not, they don't really know what your intent is. They're saying, hey, you are making your body a barrier to prevent that ball from going to a teammate or to goal or something. Then we will penalize you.
Now, for my clarity, in making your body unnaturally larger, which means taking it out of the anatomic position, right, which naturally is this way, is it that the ball touches the position on the body that is outside of the natural position? Or if I make my body bigger, but it still touches a part that is inside, is that where the handball is considered?
You have to remember the offense is
Right.
handle ball,
Right.
not ball to hand.
Right.
Right? So if it is, the ball makes contact with your hand, and it's in, as you said, in your natural atomic position, as Mr. Wheels just clearly explained,
Right.
then that's ball to
That's
hand.
ball
It's
to
not
hand.
offense.
Cool.
But, as he just explained to you the law, if it is you have made yourself bigger,
Action towards the ball.
Right.
you made that
I made-
purposeful
yeah, right.
action, right? That means you are now putting your hand to the ball,
At risk.
and that is the offense.
Yeah, we call it taking a risk.
Okay.
All right, we need to take a break. Viewers, we'll be right back.
The players know the referee taking this level of foul today. So the conditions, like wet conditions, players might be slipping, sliding. So something you might caution on a dry day for, you may not caution on a wet day. Then come to match management again. First.
I'm Tom DeLacy, Director of Spanish American Football Academy here in New York City. You are watching Field of Dreams on ACTN. Forza!
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Okay, guys, there is Why did they change the rule? And I never understand that. When I played centuries ago, right? We have to roll the ball at least one circumference forward. Now they stand on it and they push it back. When did that rule, well, not when did it change, but why did that change? What was the reason for changing that? Does anybody know that? You didn't even know they used to have to play the ball forward, probably. You're so young, right?
It was before my time, but I am aware that was a
I know
rule.
a long time it was. Had to be
Before.
touch and move. Before?
Yeah, that's to roll one circumference forward.
Yeah. Back in the days, I had the rule of one whole circumference, but I think the idea behind it is practicality, because are we going to really measure 27 inches, or the circumference of the ball? They also wanted to make the game quicker and more dynamic, more livid. So rather than, every little 13-inch roll, we're going to stop the game and say, hey, do that again. Maybe, hey, just let it go. Again, it kind of boils down to practicality and certain small stuff.
Right.
Okay, it rolls 5 inches. Let's go. No?
I know, but there was some changes to me. Like if I'm a coach, I'm not letting my team play the ball back, and if I do let them play it back, it's because we're going long after that.
Right.
But some teams play it back and they put themselves under pressure right away, which is very stupid. But that is not you guys' concern. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But
correct. Yeah.
But and there's other little rules like free kicks. You guys have indirect free kick.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When do you call an indirect free kick? Because everything I see goes directly in the goal, and it's a goal. When is there an indirect free kick?
A high boot, like Caleb challenging for the ball.
The what?
Me and Caleb challenging for the ball. Raise, make contact with Caleb. That'll be contact.
Right.
Caleb face in there.
Okay, so that happens, and it's right outside the box, and then everybody's a messy. They come and they kick it in the goal, and it's a goal. So that's not an indirect.
Hands.
I don't see you guys doing that though. Yeah, that is a sign for indirect.
Yeah,
but I don't see
there
it.
are two types of free kicks. There are direct free kicks and indirect free kicks.
I know.
Direct free kicks, as you said, could go directly in the goal, and indirect, as we know, if you score directly, it's not a goal.
But you guys stop doing this. Nobody does this anymore.
The idea between direct and indirect, the indirects are generally a lot rare. You don't see it often.
Yeah,
but for one thing for sure, you do see it for every offside. So if a team is penalized for offside, that is an indirect free kick. So you see the referee put up his hand that he's telling the world that, hey, if this free kick goes directly in the goal, it's no goal. It must touch one other player before it's considered a goal. So you see for offside, so that is the most common form of indirect free kicks you see on the field. The other reason, as Harris was mentioning, was playing in a dangerous manner. If a player is playing in a dangerous manner, then it's an indirect free kick. Other offenses generally are what we call the non-penal offenses. So if penal offenses meaning I kick you, I hit you, I pull you, these are stuff you get penalties and direct free kicks for, and you can score directly from the goal. If it's not an offense, it's more technical. So something like, as you mentioned, the goalkeeper holding the ball very long, or maybe the player pass back to the keeper and he holds it. These things are indirect offenses, meaning if it's not you don't get a penalty kick for these things. So there are some things in laws that are governed by indirect free kicks, but generally they're very rare. So in a game, you will see it 2-3 times, and rarely you might see it in the attacking third. In the attacking third, they're more pulling and pushing and tripping and kicking. These things are what the game, probably 90% of the game, in terms of fouls and direct free kicks are about. So you will rarely see indirect free kicks.
When did this law change, and what do you think about the change that a goal kick, they just play it to the guy in the box? Before, you used to have to come out of the box. Now, play it right to the guy in the box, and he can take it and go with it. When did that change?
This was a very recent change. This was last year.
June.
Last year, June, it came into effect.
Right, and what's the reason for that change?
I think as Caleb said earlier on, the game developing faster. A lot of teams, rather like for instance, Barcelona, they rather play the ball from inside the penalty area and knock it outside.
Yeah.
Okay, can I go stand if there's a goal kick and the guy who's thinking, can I go inside of the box and stand just to prevent that from happening?
No, outside the penalty area.
No.
I've got to be outside, right?
Outside.
Okay, so you're giving the you're giving them the ball to say play it and then we come in.
The idea behind this, I think, is to get the game going quicker. They did a lot of studies and they realized a lot of time is wasted for goal kicks, and especially if you're taking a goal kick and it stops within the penalty area and then he has to go and take it again. They say, hey, what? Goal kicks come like a free kick now. We're just going to play it, and if you touch it within the penalty area, it's fine.
That's okay.
It's okay. So the idea is quicker. Because the game is evolving and becoming dynamic, the lawmakers are seeing this and they say, hey, if we take a goal kick and the teammate touches it within the penalty area, continue.
So before, I just want to touch on something while we're at the penalty area. Before, two players off the field, roll off together. Me and him roll off. As defender, he's attacker. Stamp him in the face. Violent conduct. Long ago was just a red card. Now is a penalty.
So
it's off the field.
Is there a definition for you guys in when you give a yellow and when you give a red? What is the difference? How it has to be violent or it has to be what? What makes it the difference if you're straight up red or yellow? What are you looking
Yellow
for?
will fall under the aspect of serious foul play and red card, violent conduct. So to give an example, during normal or a reckless challenge, yellow card offense. Two players collided and one within the incident challenging for the ball. He kicked the player, but within the motion kicking the player, that's a questionable offense. But off the ball incidents, it literally went for the player directly. Red card offense.
Yeah. In the law book, in law 12 they specify yellow card offenses and red card offenses.
Some yellow card is
and generally for challenges, they have a range. So it starts off as no foul, then it goes to careless, which is a simple foul, no foul, no card, and then there's what we call reckless fouls. These are more serious. So you see cautions for these serious fouls, and then when it goes to a point of maybe violence or brutality, or what we call using excessive force, then it's a red card. So there's a scale we operate in within challenges, and then there's also other challenges, other offenses that require a yellow card or red card, depending. And there's a list of them in the law book, and we have to judge based on the challenge whether it is careless or no foul. Maybe they are fair challenges, so sometimes you see contact and you want to foul, but sometimes it's fair. Then there's also maybe it's unfair and we need to give a direct free kick. Then it goes to the next level. So it's like a scale, and then based on the scale, we say red card, yellow card, no card, or maybe no foul.
So as we on cards with Caleb, that way it come down to with the refereeing team again, managing the game. So the first foul at this bar you taken, you call it. So players know, hey, the referee taking this level of foul today. So the conditions, like wet conditions, players might be slipping, sliding. So something you might caution on a dry day for, you may not caution on a wet day. Then it come to match management again. Personality, reading the game, understanding football, thinking like a player too in this situation. So these help you manage the game.
One thing we need to also realize is that football is a contact sport, right? And FIFA knows that it is a contact sport. So as you rightly said, FIFA has now put it into degrees. We make contact. Football is contact, right? Push, tug, right? But there's the degrees of contact, as Caleb said. So you'll have the no foul. You'll have the simple foul. You'll have the, hey, this is a foul, but you know what? You made too much contact here. So all a yellow card is just to let you know that, hey, you did something that was not perceived to be too right by our laws. And then after, when it is you go excessively, all right, that's it. We can't have it anymore. It's that basic to put it at, because football is a contact sport. So you might see two men jostling for the ball and I'm pulling you, you pulling me. That is football. But I can't be running for the ball, have that advantage and going and you pulling on my t-shirt. No.
You know, the old timers who watching the TV now is because back in the day, football is contact and real contact. If a goalkeeper goes up and coming down with the ball and you can hit him in the goal before he hits the ground, goal. You know, these kind of things. So, I mean, us old timers looking at football now and saying, ooh, this is a bedroom sport.
So you need to remember also what FIFA has a very simple mandate when it comes to football worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play. It's all about fair play.
Fair play, safety, and enjoyment. They just want to see these things in the game. So that's why the lawmakers, they govern by these keywords of enjoyment, fair play, safety of the players. They want to ensure safety. So that's why some challenges we will not tolerate and we will give you a record.
So I just want to emphasize on something. So Manchester, Man City. Manchester playing Man City.
Yeah.
You referee at the game, you will see a different personality to maybe Manchester playing Southampton.
Yes.
Yes, he might take low
Why?
level.
So explain why.
Because the degree of the game, the quality of the players.
It should matter.
You know?
Don't you think?
Yeah, it should matter because it's a rivalry.
Right.
City. So like Derby Connection Central, that will always be a big derby in the country. Because it's a central derby. So the referee on that day and the officiating team have to be mentally strong.
Okay.
You have to be mentally strong. You're not coming to issue cautions, but it be a friendly game to the players. So coming out of the dressing room, you know, you look for two players who you know is troublemakers. And just pep talk,
not today, you know? Guys, not today, right?
Yeah? No, not today. He's a good player. Continue having a good season. So right away you have them in your back pocket.
Right.
So you come with that mentality just to have them and calm. So you know, so every time they go to make a tackle and think about making a reckless tackle, they make eye-to-eye contact with you.
Right.
Or the assist, or the close.
Before I let you guys go, I want a question. I want to hear what every one of you would say. Is if you had to change a rule, what would it be, or do you like? You know, is there a rule that you don't really like?
Caleb smiling like he has one.
It's a tough question.
Me, I do like the halftime rule. I rather water break, reason being, because after 45 plus, you come off, and then to start back, the next 45 is a next whole different game. You have to concentrate again.
So you don't like you shouldn't have no halftime.
So sometimes, we assume I might have a good first half, ROCHARD might have an excellent first half, but second half now,
you drink too much juice.
Second half now is a totally different ROCHARD or Harris or Ola or Caleb.
Okay.
Second half.
I got you. I got you. So you wish the game would be no halftime?
No halftime, just water break one, water break first half, and water break second half.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, for me, I'm satisfied with the offside rule and the VAR. I'm satisfied with the purpose of it. But there is a ticklish situation with the implementation of it in some of the leagues, and that is what I think needs to be massaged. I think the board is looking at it, so I trust their wisdom and their judgment, and whatever rules they come up with, we will enforce.
Mm-hmm.
One rule I was dwelling on for years since I even started as a grassroots referee was the rule where an official has to leave the field to change his equipment and have to literally wait until there's a stoppage. And they actually changed that now where during the game, after being inspected by the fourth official or the assistant referee in that area, the player could enter the field, provided that he didn't create an advantage position. So I was glad that that was one of the rules that was implemented, that could allow the player to re-enter the field instead of waiting quite a while.
As I said previously, my trust and faith is in the board of FIFA, right? And the staff that has made the law book 2020, 2021. I think everything is up to par at this point in time, at the modern stage of the game. As Caleb said, they are looking into the correct procedure of the VAR and how it applies. Is a very good technology. Every other sport uses it, right? It's just how to us to apply it in the correct way, but it is there. So we're just just tweaking it a little bit, right, to the application. But my trust and faith is in FIFA and what they have in the law book, and we abide by it and we do our games perfect.
OLADELE, you know, you ride the fence all the time. You ain't going one way or the other, man. That is pretty cool.
Neutral.
Yeah, you stay neutral.
Yeah.
You know, right?
No, for me, I enjoyed the interview, and I hope now on the field, the supporters could look down and, a little more courtesy for you guys and understanding how difficult the job on the field is, and get to know the personalities behind after seeing this program. And I wish you all the best. Those who have to be reinstated and be back to the international level, come back soon. And those that are there, that you all go on to bigger and better things. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
It's a pleasure being here.
Continued success, guys. We appreciate you so much. Keep the work. Keep doing good work. Appreciate you. Viewers, thank you for tuning in. ACTN, thanks for giving us the opportunity. We have a Facebook page. You can check us out, and we have an email address, fieldofdreamtt@gmail.com. You can drop us a line. Show is ended. Go in peace. My name is Steve David. Good night.